hope you are having a great day. I would like to share with you a story. It's a story of someone who wants their relationship to be better, and they know how to make lots of other areas of their life better, but they're struggling with improving their relationship. Our story's hero is named James, and he is a sales executive at a technology company. And so he is no stranger to setting big goals, making progress towards them, adjusting course if things aren't moving in the direction he wants, and ultimately achieving what he set out to achieve. Contrast this to when he comes home and the smallest things seem to set him and his partner down the garden path and they end up in an argument. Just yesterday, it was over what to have for dinner. And things just spiraled out of control. And James found himself at the end of the night wondering what he was going to do, feeling so low and defeated because he was competent at work and in a mess at home. So what he decided was that he would take his approach to achieving things in the professional environment and see if he could do the same thing at home, despite the fact that in his relationship, everything was so much more nebulous, so much more out of his control. Right? As the executive at work, he's able to hire and fire and reward and compensate, and he had all kinds of tools that he can use to help people move towards a goal. But at home, it's just him and his partner, and he doesn't have any of those tools, and even if he had them, that's not why he got into the relationship in the first place. He wants to know who his partner is and let them really become their full self. So as much as he wants to have the relationship, have the arguments decrease in frequency and ferocity, he also doesn't want to do so at the expense of his partner's freedom and personality and sense of safety and ability to be themselves. So what he decides is that his goal in the relationship is for more connection. He had tried having the goal of, for the arguments to stop. I want the arguments to go away, right? That's the pain. I want to solve the pain. But he realized that there were two of them involved in those arguments. And he can't control what his partner does, but he knows that he has control over his own thoughts, his own feelings, his own actions, and therefore maybe he can get a different result if he starts there. And so he decides to create conscious moments of connection with his partner. He said, in the sales environment, I can make phone calls if I need to make sales. I can coach my team on how to be more effective, how to get better results. I know things that I can do in order to move me towards my goal that I have for this period of time, right? I know the number that I'm aiming for. I know the period of time in which I need to hit that number. And so I'm going to start making progress towards that. He did the same thing in his relationship. He said, I am going to create moments of connection. In the next 30 days, I want to create 5 moments of connection between me and my partner. And I know that that's all in my own hands because I control my thoughts. I'm able to cultivate this sense of love, of ease, and ultimately of connection with my partner. And so he goes about doing that. He comes home from work, and rather than just letting things go where they would go, he sits down, he touches his partner's hand lovingly, looks into their eyes, and asks them how their day was. And whether or not the partner responds in kind or feels connected, James has put himself out there and expressed love. He's feeling the connection from his side. Over the next 30 days, sure enough, the number of arguments decreases, the amount of connection increases, and James suddenly feels not just the power of being able to have an impact in his own life and in his relationship, but he also feels the potential for his relationship. Where before it was a source of pain, a source of discouragement, it actually becomes a source of inspiration, even a lab for experimentation in his life. So, the story of James is a fictional one, but it is one that is an example of the dichotomy that we hold in our minds between physical, tangible goals, whether it's a business goal, a health goal, anything that we can touch and see and move towards. I'm sure you've experienced setting something out for yourself and knowing what you need to do each day to do that. Even though there's all kinds of factors, whether it's the weather getting in your way or life coming up, all kinds of things get in the way, but you take responsibility for your portion of it and you move relentlessly in some cases towards that finish line that you've set out for yourself. And I want to tell you that the same thing is possible in your relationship. You can use the story of James as an example where you set out how you want things to shift and you take full responsibility for what you can do to cause that shift. And you break it down to things that you can do each day, knowing that your thoughts are your power. Take a moment right now and think of someone that you want to connect with. And if it's a stretch for that to be your partner in your core relationship right now, think of a pet, think of an animal, think of a friend, someone that there's no tension or anything that you might be thinking is getting in your way. And feel that connection with that person or that animal. Allow yourself to feel how good that is. And also to notice that you're the one creating that connection. It doesn't depend on the object of your connection doing anything in return. So that's your power. That's what you can do on a daily basis. And that's what you can do to make progress towards your goal. In order to be motivated, human beings need to know that we're getting the job done, right? And so many people have relationship goals that are all or nothing, or they're very nebulous. It's like, I want the fighting to stop. How will you know you're making progress? How will you stay motivated to take responsibility for your side of what that could mean? Unless you have the goal be something that you are making progress towards and something that's in your control, there won't be motivation. There won't be creativity that there otherwise could be. And as I'm sure you've seen with other more tangible goals. One last thought on this one is that when you started your committed relationship with your partner, you very likely said vows. Perhaps they were religiously inspired. Some kind of, divine love, some kind of unconditional promise. Oftentimes, that divine inspiration seems to evaporate in the chaos of everyday life. And the incredible thing about realizing your own power to effect change in your relationship is that it brings back this divine element. And what I mean by that is oftentimes people will say, well, if I want the fighting to stop, or if I want my partner to respect me or to stop doing these certain things, they have to play ball. They have to do these things. I'm not just going to put myself out there and not expect something in return. And that's fair. That's human nature. That's the way we're kind of programmed to behave. If I do this, I need that. But this is where that divine inspiration comes back, that unconditional love. If you hearken back to the vows that you may have said at the start of the relationship, your formal commitment to each other, it didn't say anything about when I love you in this way, I need such and such in return. Which means that this is your chance to reconnect in a powerful way to that initial inspiration, that spiritual foundation that you might have laid at the beginning of your relationship. And what you'll find, if those were your shared values, and those are still your shared values, reconnecting to that and living from that without any expectation that your partner do the same or give you back in proportion to what you're giving, that's your source of purpose, your source of joy. That's when the relationship becomes a spiritual practice, becomes your arena for development. And it's amazing, right? So rather than thinking, well, if I put myself out there in this way, I might not get back what I'm putting out. You can go back to that initial inspiration and say, well, that's fine. That's the divine element in me that I aspire towards. Right? And so what a remarkable thing that you can set a goal for a specific time frame in a very worldly kind of way, like, I want to achieve this sales result, I want to achieve this milestone in my physical performance or whatever it might be, but actually have that be connected to your own spiritual growth, to your own divine inspiration. And to not get discouraged if what you want to get back from the world may not be coming back at you. You can still put forward, because that's your goal, whether it's moments of connection, whether it's kind things that you say or do, whether it's moments of peace, moments of tranquility. You get to choose how you feel, how you show up. And don't underestimate the impact that your own commitment to that spiritual foundation for your life, and perhaps for your partnership, will have on your partnership and on your life. So much is in your hands, and you can approach it in a very motivating, very positive feedback loop kind of way. So if you would like more help with this, head over to revitalizeyourrelationship.com/challenge. We have a 5-day Bring Back the Love challenge that will guide you through other elements of how to do this. And we'll invite you into our community where you can ask for feedback, share your thoughts, get inspiration from other people who are doing this same work. So that's revitalizeyourrelationship.com/challenge. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll be in touch.